why? Is it easier? BC ratios and all that. I'm gonna get the questions. While I do that, does any of you have a question about whatever homework? No?
Can you work one of those corporate tax stuff and question 13 also and test for the mid-year convention?
Question 13. Yes. So what I have in plan for today, because the depreciation is very all over the place, so I plan to solve a BC question. I think that one should be enough because it's just applying the formula, right? You all should be fine with that. So we'll just go through one, just to go through it, and then chapter 9 starts. I figured there are 6 questions that I should go through. Those 6 include your questions as well. We'll start with easy cost basis question. We'll do straight line method, declining balance, double declining balance, unit of use method, Macker's gain loss, half year convention, Macker's with 27.5 years with half month, and then the 9.38, which should be like gain and loss with all that stuff going on. Does that sound good? Okay, let me open up the...
What's your email? MEK? MEK? Yeah.
Alright, this friend sent me this today. This has everything from last year. Let me know if you have any problems with it. Even looking at that, they didn't help everyone.
Okay, so let's start with the very basic concept of BC, and then, as I said earlier, like a minute ago, we're just gonna go all into depreciation, right? Because BC should be very easy. If you have any other questions about BC, feel free to ask, but if we can deal with that later because it's still an early time. Okay, question 8.1, right? So, we have, very easy, put this in your sheets, the BC ratio equals the benefits, investment plus the accruing costs. The PI ratio equals benefits minus the accruing costs divided by investment, right? So what does BC remind you of? It should be very easy. We have benefits, we have costs. So present value, anyone? Like 2 quizzes ago? Yeah. So all these methods, present value, IRR, AE, BC, PI, they all come up to the same conclusion in weird ways. Like they all come to the same thing, but they all come from different perspectives. This is to show that if you're ever going to be like a project manager or something, you could say, hey, we got this ratio, but our present worth is like this. So you can show other stuff. But they all come to the same thing. Okay, so this question says right here, the annual benefits, let's call them AB, is 91.4K, right? And then the annual support service, which is the annual cost, will be equal to 44.05K, right? And then this takes initial investment of 5K. Okay, so there are 2 things that we can do. What we said, we can do present value, annual equivalency. Right, so these 2 are given as annual, right? So it would be easier to convert this to annual and then work with that. Because they all need to be at the same spot, same time. So if this is present value, this is annual, So we either have to convert these into present or convert this into annual. But this is what I'll go with, and let me be consistent. Okay, to be consistent with the solution, let's go with the solution and let's convert everything to a present value, right? So this arrow means we converted into a present value. This is already 5K. This is 91.4 times P of A. What's the I equals 9, N equals 7, right? Okay, 9% of 7, and then this is 4405K P of A, 9% of 7. Okay, let's look it up. 9%. The good part about this is you use the same factor. So if you find the factor, it's all the same. So P of A at 9% for 7 is 5.033, right? So let's get this. 91.4 times 5.033 is, oh, that's a big number. 460. Yeah, that's not that big. Okay, and then 44.05 times 5.033 is 2217. And then this is already present value, so this will be 5, right? So let's get the BC ratio. BC ratio will just be this one, 4602, divided by 2217 plus 5, right? So this will be 460.02 plus, divided by 5 plus 221.7, which is 2.03. This is greater than 1. What does this mean? We accept the project. We like the project. Let's check the PI ratio. Right? So the PI ratio will be 460. I'm just going to get rid of the decimals for sake of simplicity. Minus this thing divided by 5. Right? So 460 minus 221 divided by 5. Whoa, that's a big number, which is again greater than 1. So what does this tell us? The BC ratio says, hey, do that project. The PI ratio says, yeah, that's cool to do that project. And if you want to do the present value to see they all come up to the same thing, you can do present worth at 9%. We already have everything in present worth, right? We have the benefits, that should be plus. We have the cost, that should be minus. So 460 is the benefits. We got a cost, which is 221. We got another cost, which is 5. This is something which is greater than 1. And again, the present worth says we gotta do this. This is pretty cool, right? Yes.
That 5 is 5,000, right?
Yeah, I just got rid of the thousands. Yeah, you can do the same. Just put the thousands at the end. Are there any questions? Because I'm gonna go into depreciation. BC is very boring for me, and I think for you too, because you all look bored. Okay, this is page 1. Let me see what I got. Oh, 9.6. So we'll start slow and then go into the other cool stuff. I hope you find it cool too. Okay, what is cost basis? Okay, let's move on.
Do you just need the?
Yeah, I clicked it.
Oh, that's just I have it on my laptop.
Yeah, I clicked it. This is just running slow. I don't know what reason. Okay. So 9.6 on the solution, because this was an algorithmic question. Everyone got different questions on their homeworks, and I got something different too. So it says a corporation bought this many manufacturing cells at price of something. So in the question, hopefully it will show up. It says that they bought 4 units of, let's write them down. Okay. We're gonna go with red because I lost my black pen here. So it says they bought 4 units of X at, I'm gonna get rid of the thousands again, right? They bought 4 units of this. When they were delivered, they had to pay a charge of, okay, this is one. They had to pay a charge of 15,000, getting rid of the thousands again, and handling fees of 14,000, right? This is cost. Site preparation took $47,000, and then so this might be the tricky part. I got tricked at least. So there are 7 foremen working, and then each earning $25. Since we were using thousands, let's put them back. $25 per hour, right? They work 40 hours a week, and they worked 5 weeks, right? And other stuff, 4.5K. Okay, so the question asks us the cost basis. This is important because from now on we're going to use the cost basis to find the depreciation and all that, like how much we pay. This is actually important for us. So we have 4 units of costs. So we have 4 units of something, which is 4 times 420 plus. So we have 15,000 and 14,000 cost. Right? And then we have 47,000 plus the other stuff, 4,500 plus, so we have 7 people working at 40 hours a week, 5 weeks, $25 per hour. So $25 per hour times 40 hours times 5 weeks times 7. Right? This is the only tricky part of this question. The only tricky part. Let me see. Yes. Yes. And if you add it up, you'll get a number, which is cost basis. Do you want me to add it up? I just want to save some time for more important questions. Not saying this is not important, this is also important. This is like the basics. Everyone got how to do a cost basis? We all can do cost basis? Yeah. I believe so. Okay, let's move on. So we have a lot of ways to calculate the depreciation upon that cost basis. The basic ones are SL method, the straight line, and declining balance. This can be double or 1/2. Right? You all remember this? Cool. Okay, so this is the question of 9.8. Let me see. Yes. Okay, 9.8. So we got the cost of the asset I given as this number, the N is given as this number, and the salvage value is given as this number, right? So there are three methods. These two are pretty close. This is something else. So we're gonna do one of this one and this one for this project or whatever, right? So let's start with SL. And I highly suggest you to write down the formulas on your formula sheet for the depreciations for all of them, because I got my formula sheet too. I mean, don't memorize it. So SL method says the depreciation at N will be equal to investment minus the salvage value times 1 over N. This is pretty easy, right? There's nothing changes. Every time it's the same. We don't have any lags for calculating the depreciation. Pretty simple, right? Okay. We start the depreciation table. You all should be very clear on how you write your depreciation table. It should be very easy to read, because if you make it hard to read, it's just, you're gonna lose some points you don't deserve. It's all messy. And it's very easy to write this table, right? 4, 5. We list the ends. First we do depreciation, and then we do book value. Right? What is book value? Book value is the value of the thing we have. So the investment we made, like this is worth $229,000 to us. So book value when we first buy it at year 0 will be $229,000. And at the first year we don't do depreciation, because we just bought it. We're very excited. We're going to depreciate it now. So our depreciation, I'm going to call it SLDN, will be equal to 229 minus 61 times 1 over N times 1,000. Right? So this will be equal to 229 minus 61 times 0.2 times 1,000. Yep. 33,600. Again, for straight line method, the depreciation does not change for every year. We just have this, and if you forget the salvage value here, you're going to depreciate into 0, which is wrong, because we have a salvage value. But if the question said, hey, you don't have this, then S is equal to 0, so we don't have to do this. Do not forget the salvage value. That's how I lost point on my homework. Right? Yes. Okay, 33,600. So I'm going to go 1-2 steps, and then the rest is on the solutions. I'm just going to show initial steps. So first year, we say, hey, IRS or whoever, we got this as depreciation. Now our book value will be equal to 229,000 minus 33.6K. Now we can say, hey, our cool machinery is worth $195,400 because it lost its value, it got wear and tear, blah, blah, whatever. Right? So, second year, 33,600. This will be right? And then we get something, and then we fill it out. At the end, we'll get 61,000. And this is. Everyone clear with the SL? Straight line? That should be pretty clear. That's pretty cool, neat. Okay. Moving on. Yes.
It's on the double depreciation on the straight line. When you get down to 61,000, do you have to, if it's not the exact amount of the depreciation, do you have to like fill in the difference between the last book value?
For this one,
Yeah.
or in general?
In general.
So if you do straight line method, if you put all of these by math, it should come to salvage value.
Just even.
Yes, just even out. Mhm. But in the other cases where you get weird depreciation, you can just roll it over to the salvage value. Yeah, it'll be just decimal error. Okay, SL brings us to this. Now we use declining balance. So we have an alpha right now, which is 1 over n times the multiplier. So the multiplier can be 1.5 or can be 2. And this determines if it's a double declining balance or just plain old declining balance. This is declining. This is double. Cool. Right? Which one you want to do? Do you want to be consistent with the homework or just try the other one? Consistent? Cool, let's do that. Okay, let me see what's, yes. So we got this, and we got this. Okay, so the formula for depreciation is at n, this is the point in time, dn will be equal to alpha times book value n minus 1. So now you can see this is not a constant. This always changes. This decreases very rapidly. Unlike this one decreases very slow. But here it decreases very rapidly, right? So let's try it out. N 0, 1, 2. Book value. Okay, so our first dn will be, okay, first let us write alpha, which is 1 over 5 times, since we're going to be consistent, we're going to use 2 as the multiplier. This will be just 0.4, right? This means we're going to depreciate 0.4 of the value every year. Like every year, 40% of it goes back. Okay, let's do the first one. So what did we say? We said dn will be equal to alpha times the book value of the previous one. So the previous one is 229. So 229,000 times 0.4, which will be equal to 91,600. That's very big depreciation. So now the book value will be this one minus 91,000, because we deduct from that the previous one, not the initial one. Be careful with that. Every semester, some people do deduct from this one. No, it should be the previous one, right? So 229 minus 91.6 will be equal to 137,400. Okay, let's continue with this. The dn will be equal to times 0.4. 54,960. So it started to slow down a bit, right? So let's find out what's the book value. 137,400 minus the answer 82,440. Okay, right? Cool. So year 3, because there's a really neat trick that not a trick, but everyone should know this. So we're gonna do 82,000 times 0.4, which will be equal to 32,976. 82,440 minus the answer will be 49,464. Okay, this is where it happens. You can be like, hey, I did the depreciation. I found the book value, but this is bigger than the salvage value, right? Yes, you're right. This cannot be bigger than the salvage value. So what we do here is we find the dn, and we observe that the book value is less than the salvage value, right? Then we say, no, this can't happen. This should be equal to 61,000 And if this is 61,000, what's our depreciation going to be rather than 32,000? It's going to be the difference between the consecutive ones. So 82,440 minus 61,000. So 82,440 minus 61,000. Four. What are we going to do at step 4? Everyone got this? By the way, this is very important.
Can you say how you got the 21?
Yes. You got the previous ones, right? How we get this one. Okay, so the depreciation is the difference between the consecutive ones. So we said that this has to be 61, so the depreciation 21.
So it can't go to the salvage?
No, it cannot go below the salvage value. If we're doing SL or double declining, it cannot go below the salvage value. So at 4, we cannot depreciate because we cannot go below, and at 5, it's got to be this 0, and then we end like this. Right? Okay. Any questions on double declining, declining, straight line? Okay. I got 4 more questions for you. Let me start with the most important one that I think. This is page 2. This is going to cover Macker's gain and loss and half-year convention. This is question 9.36. It has everything. We love it. Okay, so some people thought, hey, the straight line balance thing is very slow. The double declining does not decline anymore at some point. And some cool people at tax returns or whatever said, hey, we can come up with something better, which can always depreciate over its lifespan. They came up with the Macker's table, right? So why did I say this? Because if you can see, there are some stars right here. What do they represent? Does anybody know? Yes, the switch from double declining to straight line. And how do we know it's double declining? Right here, it says 200. The other ones are 150. We're going to come up to these. No, we're not going to come up to these. Okay, usually people observe 3, 5, 7, 10, right? And does everyone know how to use a Macker's table, or should I go with that?
I'd say just go through it.
Hmm?
You go through real quick.
Yes. Yeah. So, okay. This is 9.36. We'll make a Macker's table too. So what does it say? There's a 5 years Macker's asset purchase at I equals 89,000. 5 year Macker's. What a cool name. Okay, it says it's depreciated over. Let me show you if I can. Okay, it's very poorly written, but it says it's depreciated over 6 years. This is the important part. Why is it depreciated over 6 years if it's a 5-year class? Yes, half-year convention. That's very important. Do not forget to do the half-year convention. Okay, one thing. If you're fully depreciating, the half-year convention is already done for you with the Macker's table. If you're not fully depreciating, you got to do the half-year convention. If you forget it, it's just wrong. It's just wrong, right? This is why this question shows that. Like this question. Cool. So, where is it? It's depreciated over 6 years. The salvage will be equal to $44,000. And then, 44 at n equals 3. 32 at n equals 5. Yeah. And 8,000 at n equals 6. So we all know we know everything we need. And 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The n value n. Okay. So first year we don't have anything, and our book value is 89,000. Can anyone tell me what's the second assumption of Mackers? One is half year, the other is we assume no salvage. If we're using Mackers value, we assume no salvage. That's where the gain and loss comes in, which I'm going to point out. So there are two assumptions of Mackers. So this is 5-year Mackers. Let's see. Our first one is 20%. Do not multiply the book value with 20. Multiply it with 0.2, because then you're anti-depreciating it, which is wrong. So 0.2, let's use 89,000 times 0.2, 17,800. So our next book value will be 89,000 minus the answer 71,200. Right. So next year, 32, 0.32. Which one am I going to use? The first one or the second one? No.
No, the
The first one. If we're using Mackers, we're always using the initial one. If it's SL, DD, whatever, if we're using Mackers, we're always using the initial, because, I like this, because if you add up everything, it's going to come up to 1, which means we're fully depreciating the asset. Okay. Cool. Right. So now we're going to do 0.32 times 89%, 89,000, 28,480, and then we're going to deduct 28,000 from 71,000. 71,200 minus 28, this thing, 42,720, right? Okay. We have salvage option at year 3. We have salvage option at year 3. Let's do the thing. This is 0.192. So we're going to do 0.192 times 89,000, which will be 17,088. 42,720 minus answer 25,32. Right? Okay. Our first option is to sell the thing for $44,000 at year 3. The government or whoever thinks that, we told them that this book value is $25,000. So what that means is, this is actually worth $25,000, but we could sell it for $44,000. So that means we're earning money, right? Our salvage is greater than book value gain. Salvage less than book value loss. Right? So now at year 3 we have that. But I told you something which including me forgot. We have to do half year convention. This is wrong what we did. Because we plan to sell it at year 3, we cannot fully depreciate it for year 3. We got to divide this into 2 and then add the missing part here, which will still be less than $44,000. So let's do the correct version. So we fully depreciated it, but we're going to sell it at year 3, so we're going to just half it. So 17,088 divided by 2, 8,500, and we're going to do 42,700 minus 17,888 divided by 2, which will be equal to 42,700 minus answer 34,156. Right? This is the right way. Because, including me, forgot the half-year convention, we kind of did a mistake. This is the right way. But if we said, hey, I don't want to sell it at year 3, I'm going to continue depreciating it, we take 25,000 as the book value and continue on depreciating that. So if we do that and get to here at year 5, we had to do, because this hasn't ended, this hasn't ended, not equal to 6, we have to do a half year again. But if we're at year 6, we cannot see. So this isn't at the end, so we have to do a half year. Write it down. Half year. Right? Because it's already done for us in the table. The macros table does it for us if we fully depreciate it. Any questions? Yes?
So do you use the half year thing every time you're approaching the salvage value year? That makes sense.
Yes, if you plan to sell it, like if you have an offer or if you want to compare if you're making a gain or loss, you gotta do a half year convention. You cannot fully depreciate it. But if you don't have an offer, or if you reject the offer and continue on depreciating it, you cannot use that half year. You gotta use the full year and then continue. Right? Cool. Mm-hmm. Yes.
What do we mark in the table as we go? We mark, like, do we mark both, or do we denote that?
Which one?
So, like, the half year.
Yes.
Like you do the half year the year before. Do you mark the in this table where I write down 25,632, or where I write down the other number?
So in a question, it should be asking only one of them, right? If it asks all of them, like in the homework, you would say, hey, I got this comparing this. But if you're continuing to 5, you're going to use the 25,000. Right? So in the question, it should be clear what you should write. You shouldn't worry about that. Anything else? If not, I believe everyone got macros, gain, loss, half year, all that. Oh, yes, cool.
So it'll only ask for 1 year instead of all 3 of them, like given salvage values?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it should ask 1 year, but if it asks like multiple years, you can just use whatever you want, which comes to the same thing. Like you can write, hey, if we're not comparing, it's 25. If we're comparing, it's 34. And I compare it with 34, which is less than 44, so I make a gain. But for some reason, I don't want to sell it. So you can write both of them, which should be correct.
Can you say the assumptions one more time?
The assumptions of macros, we assume half year convention, we assume no salvage value. That's where the gain and loss comes in, as we saw. Yes?
The switch from declining to straight line, does that have any importance? I mean, do we have to like change the way we do things?
No, if you're using the table, which should be given to you, which will be given to you, not should be, which will be given to you. If you're using this, then it doesn't matter. You just put the number in to the initial book value and then get the depreciation, subtract that from the previous book value and continue like that. The only important is kind of technical. You want to know it? Cool. It's not that important, but we switch because the double declining balance starts to be slower than the SL method. That's the only important.
So really there's no change in how you do the math, it's just
No.
for technical reasons.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, if you do macros, there's no change in the math. Okay, so let's move on to any questions? Am I moving too fast? Okay, let's go to the next page. Another question that I think is important is the half-month convention, because this is kind of confusing too. Let me find. This is question number 927. It should be on page 8 of the. So, let's go to the question, see what's going on. Okay, on sometime, this time is important for us. It's April
March, whatever, that time is important because we will assume half month convention. If they got it at April 1st, the first minute of April 1st, we assume that they used it half of April. Right? Okay, I will demonstrate it then. So this guy paid $310,000 for a property, and the purchase price represents $250,000 for the building and $60,000 for the land. There is the first trick thrown at us. What is the trick? Which one do we don't count?
The land.
The land. The land never depreciates, right? 5 years later, on November 1st, he sold the property for something. Compute the Macker's depreciation for each of the 5 calendar years during which he had the property. Okay, let's move on to solving the question. I need my list, I guess. Okay, so when it comes to real property, we have 27.5 years or 39 years, I guess. This should be given. The question will say this Macker's is for 39 years or 27.5 years. So our depreciation will be, if we're doing this for real property, our depreciation will be used month divided by 12 times the cost divided by Macker's year. Do you see any similarity on this with anything else we did previously? This kind of looks like straight line method because it's linear. It's always the same if we forget about this, right? Okay.
What do you mean by used month?
So how many months they use? That's just how I named it. Let me clarify that.
Oh, so you're just getting the years basically, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
Right. So, we're going to do another depreciation table starting with 0, 1, 2. How long does this go? 5 years later. 3, 4, 5. So the first book value will be what? How much do we bought it? $250,000. Right? No depreciation. So the only tricky part about this is the first year and the last year, because we have the half month. So this guy bought it on April 1st, sold on, when did he sell it? November 1st. So the good part about this is it's kind of balancing. So we say April he used it for half month, and we say November he used it for half month. So he gets to take 15 days there and lose 15 days at the end, right? So for April, how many months did we, from April to December, how many months did we use? April is the fourth month? Yeah.
Yeah.
8.
7.5.
Yes, 7.5. Since from April to December, counting April, we got 8 months, and we take April as half. We use it for 7.5 months. January, February, something, December, April. We take the half of it, and then this goes 7.5 months. Right? You may want to write a kind of small calendar, because I always forgot August, so I get weird results. Okay, so we use it for 7.5 months. 7.5 divided by 12 times. What does it say? This says this is Macker's 27.5. So the cost is $250,000
divided by 27.5. So this will be equal to 250,000 divided by 27.5 times 7.5 divided by 12. It will be equal to what? 5,681.82.
I think that's wrong because I think the way I did it, you do 8.5, which I don't understand why. But if you do 8.5 month, you get the right answer for some reason. Because the right answer is 6,439. That's what I was trying to understand because I was so lost on that.
Huh. Get it on April 1st. That should be 7.1 months.
It's 8 months, but take half.
That's what it didn't make sense to me when I was doing it.
Yeah. Let me check my answer. Well, what did I write? Use month times cost and accuracy. Okay. Yeah, this is my answer. So I don't have a lot of things. Okay. Let's do this. For if it's 7.5 or 8.5, I'll send an announcement. Does that sound good? Because I have 15 more minutes and I have 2 more questions that I want to go through. Okay, so this is kind of, we're not sure about that. So this is 12 divided by 12 times 250K divided by 27.5. This should be something, and these are all equal, right?
Why
This-
is it 12?
Yeah, we're using it for full. So it's 1 times 250,000 divided by 27.5. We get 9,091. Yes, something like that. If we 9,091. So we sell it on November 1st. So January to November. November is the 11th month. Yeah. So we use it for half a month. We do 11.5 divided by 12 times this 27.5. If you want to save time, just multiply 9,091 with other stuff. That should give you the same thing. Let's check.
Actually, I think for this one, he used 10.5 instead of
wouldn't it be
11.5.
10.5 if you didn't use it in November?
Well, if you use 10.5 and I use 11.5, I add 1 more month there. And I give up 1 more month at the beginning. So at the end, I should get the same book value. I hate how. Okay, so this needs to be figured out. This needs to be figured out. I'm going to check it after class right here on my own homework. I got it on Canvas. So this should give us the same thing because we take one month here, we give up 1 month there. The book value at the end should be the same by math. You got a question?
Yeah, what's for n equals 2, is that 12 over?
Yes, it's 12 over 12. So this should be equal to, I don't know, 11.5 divided by 12 times 9091. Oops. Something like this. I made a calculation error. I put 9090, but it should be something close to this. Right? So we take all these numbers, this one, this one, this one, this one, and subtract it from the book value. Remember, this is all depreciation. The book value is a continuous thing. This is not the book value. Not book value. Right? So at the end, we get 250,000 minus 9,000 minus 9,000 minus 9,000 minus 5.6 thousand minus 8.7 thousand, which should be BB5 would be equal to 208,700. Something like this. Something close to this. I skipped some decimals. Right?
So this guy sold the property for $400,000. The book value is $208,000. This is a gain. Thank you. For 400K. Okay. So now we did gains. Now we get to get taxed on our gains or get money for our losses, which is question 9.38. Let's go. Four. 9.38. Right? Let me find the question. Okay. It's important. Okay. Okay, so the Auburn Crane Inc. Hydraulic Crane Service Company had sales revenues of, let's do it like this. Sales revenue. This will be very important on your next quiz. This thing, what I'm doing right now, will be very important on quiz 5 and quiz kind of important on quiz 4, because quiz 5 is where you use everything you know from this class. It's like a comprehensive exam. So this is pretty cool question. I don't want to scare you, but this is a pretty cool question. Okay, the sales revenue is 4.28K, right? And the table below provides, where is the table? Okay, there's no table in the solutions, but the solution says to me the labor costs were 1,510K. This is 1,510,000, just to be clear. The material costs 760K. The depreciation report is this. The office supplies, another cost, is 15.7K. The interest is 40,300K. And we have rental equals 47,001K. So, if you remember the question, like I do, for some reason, there is one missing point here on the solution, which is the principal payment. Why is principal payment not here?
It's not part of your cost basis.
Yes, it's not in the cost basis. Perfect. We cannot include that in our cost basis. We cannot say, hey, we want to deduct this from the taxes and all that. So principal, no. That's not cool. So the taxable income, we got this as positive, and we got these as negative. Right? So we just do $4,280,000 minus all of this. Okay, I'm not going to do the math. I'm going to trust the solution. Taxable income will be equal to sales revenue minus all the expenses, which is $1,549,500. Right? This is the income we say that, hey, I got this much money. You can tax me on that. Right? This is what I reported to taxing people. And then there comes the income taxes. So the tax rate is given as, in the question, 21%. Right? Tax rate is 21%. This is the taxable income. So the next step is we do taxes will be equal to 1549500 times 0.21, which will be equal to 1549500 times 0.21. 300,025. This number. Sorry. Yeah. This number is the tax. We said that, hey, we got this much money you can tax, and then they said, okay, this is your taxes. So we pay that money. That money goes to wherever it has to go to. So now we come to net income. This is the net money we have after paying our stuff to the government. So this is 1549500 minus the taxes, 3254799. 1549500 minus the answer, 1,224,105. This is what we earn. Right? So you might say, hey, that's pretty easy. Why is this? In the next stuff, in the next. Now I'm not going to talk about this, but okay, you'll see. Yeah, but this is pretty important. If you count this where you use the taxes, where you use the tax rate, and you want to have any questions on this. There's also two parts from 9.38 that I skipped. It's not that relevant. This is the more important part. The other part is with salvage value, gain and loss. You all know how to do that. We have a net gain or net loss, and then we just put the tax rate on that to get all the taxes and stuff. Right? Should I do it? Cool. Yeah, I'm just gonna. So, if we say, I'm gonna make up numbers. If we say we made a gain of $40,000, right? And the tax rate is 21%. You're gonna pay $40,000 times 21% taxes on the gain. And the gain comes from S minus book value. Right? So the salvage is, let's say, 80,000, and the book value was 40,000. We made $40,000, and this will be a tax on gains / losses. So on the slash part, loss will be equal to, let's make it again, let's make it 4,000. And this will be equal to book value and minus the salvage. Why? Because the book value is now greater, right? And this will be 21%. Something. And do we count it as tax? No. Because we made a loss, the government says, hey, you lost money on this, I'm going to give you 21% of it back on your tax return or something. So this is a plus, this is a minus. And that should do part B and C for question 9.38. Okay, I'm almost out of time, but one more very, very important thing, well, not as important, but 9.18, which is the last method for depreciation, is the usage cost something. Let's go. Okay, cool. Very short, very short. Okay. 9.18. Okay. The biggest thing you should know about is the depreciation end will be equal to hours used at N divided by total usage times 1 minus I minus S. Right? This is important. put all the depreciation stuff you can in your formula. Macros, you don't need it. You will always get a table for macros because it's a lot of stuff. Put the BC, PI ratios. Try the incremental on your own. It's pretty similar to IRR, how you come up, like you rank them and then you just do the incremental. It should be pretty easy. If you have any other questions, you can find me in my office until sometime today or send me an email. And other than that, I wish you good luck on tomorrow's quiz. Thank you. And also I'm going to upload these. You can find me in my office until sometime today or send me an email. And other than that, I wish you good luck on tomorrow's quiz. Thank you. And also I'm going to upload these.